Hey guys, here with the current Alien Decimation video. A lot of people release information on these events. I'm just going to give you my ideas for some of the prizes and stuff like that, and how I plan on maybe kind of looking at implementing some of them, and talk about some of them if you guys haven't noticed. With the Elite, or the Annihilator Elite Battleship upgrade, one big thing about this, right, is that you have this 390 AU sector speed. Really, this is going to be useful, I think, once the Xeno carrier comes out. It's going to be interesting to see what the Elite carrier upgrade is going to be for the Xeno, or for the Xeno carrier, because really these battleships are kind of useless without a carrier. Yeah, they can cause a lot of damage, but they really can't get away from anything. They will get caught. They will probably get killed. Battleships are good for kiting, and these ones really aren't going to kite anything with the speed that they have without a carrier. So, yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how this comes into play. But your modifiers, you get the 50% weapon mass, which is nice. And then your 50% alien resist, also nice, especially when you're using it for fleet versus fleet. I personally still feel like the Annihilator is a massive battleship, and it definitely throws off some of the tactics that work well, especially out of starting formations that I use my Hellfires and Zeals for. So I'm still, you guys have seen my other videos, I'm sure, on the Annihilator. I'm still not necessarily sold on it. I've tried using it in fleet versus fleet. Really, I've seen people that have been successful with it, but it'll be interesting to see how it gets implemented as we go on. I'm still not bought into it fully yet, but I'm sure they'll make it better. I'm sure some people will find a way to use it, and then we'll all kind of start adapting to it. I'm just not willing to coin for that right yet. The next thing I kind of want to hit up on, first off, I would definitely suggest getting Hellfires. They are not completely out of the game yet. They still have a place. They can get rock, paper, scissors, but they actually are probably the best thing to take up against Punishers, other than other Punishers, or even Decimators sometimes do really well, just depending on the pilot. But yeah, going into the Xeno Beam Capacitor. So the dumb thing about this is this damage to squadrons. One, this is a beam. It's kind of meant to be used towards beam. There's really no bonuses that are going to help you out with your Xeno Disintegrator. If it's anything like the other, the regular energy beam capacitor, it's really not going to give you any advantage to the Disintegrator other than this thing right here, this 30% damage to squadrons, which if any of you out there have ever used beams against squadrons, you know that that's virtually useless. It's not really useful at all against squadrons. Beams are the worst weapons against squadrons. So I personally, this is like, I don't know why I put this into this weapon right here, unless for whatever reason I haven't tested the rupture beam against squadrons in particular to do a solid test on them to see if it shoots at one squadron, then targets the other squadron and another squadron before it finishes its burst. But if it's like impulse or thermals, it's just going to shoot at one squadron until that squadron's dead, and then it's going to have to go back into its charge cycle, which even with 30%, if we have the same charge cycle, it's probably going to be about 3 to 4 seconds before you even start shooting at another squad, which if you have, squads out of a swarm squads, you're looking at freaking 5 squads still left on the battlefield, or even 4 if you're shooting out both sides. But still, it's not effective at all to use beams against squadrons as the current meta of the game goes. So that's kind of how I feel about these. They're really that's kind of a useless perk to have. But we do have Xeno Disintegrators returning finally. I feel like it may be a little too soon. I don't know. It does equalize the game a lot, and a lot of people were complaining that they'd missed this event the last time that they had the chance to get Xeno Disintegrators, and it put them really far behind. And in my opinion, it definitely did, because all the fleets had to be geared towards guys who had Xeno Disintegrators, and the guys that missed that event because they were, real life happens. Shit happens, real life. And they weren't able to get this. This is still a game after all, but it is kind of messed up that it puts people behind so far. So a lot of people are going to like this. I would definitely consider getting these if I didn't already have all 30 of them. I'm still kind of thinking about it. I've already actually gotten 5 million points, and that's after, well, on this account I haven't gotten anything yet, but I have 5 million points. I have all the blueprints. I got both the blueprint weapons. I'm going to talk about those too. A couple interesting things maybe to mention on those. Then you got your boxes, normal boxes, all your demon core parts, patterns, and cores. And the same res exchange that we've had in the last few events, which again, you're looking at maybe getting what? Maybe 400 million, 500 million res total across all three types. Maybe 600 million if you include all levels. But to fill the, looking at 3 billion res that we have, that really doesn't help out at all. It'll help some people. You know, I'm probably going to get the antimatter. I'm a little low on antimatter, but so just to give you guys an idea, like I said, I do have all of the beams, kind of how I was considering using them. Oh, I didn't know I had that on there. So I was looking at the Xeno Rupture Beam and potentially considering running some sort of a fit that used both, up my DPS, lower my armor. Look at the increase here. So I can increase my DPS by 29%, and I'm sacrificing 250 meters. Whoops, 250 meters of range for because you got 4,000 meters here, 250 meters here for 29% DPS. That's a considerable amount, and there could be ways to use this to the player's advantage. And even if you were to take and slide a level 1 in there, and maybe consider throwing on the, well, I didn't get the Xeno Beam Capacitor yet, which, screw it, why not? I got the points, I can get more points anyways. So, and this is, again, this is on a Mark 6. So I'll go ahead and throw the Xeno Disintegrator, or Xeno Rupture Beam, sorry, replace a couple of my Disintegrators. And I bump my DPS. It's actually more like probably about 12%, roughly. Maybe even 15%, but I lower my armor 8%. So I'm getting a 2-to-1 ratio increase percentage-wise of DPS versus armor. When you think about it, that's not bad, considering that you can get, if you were to do something like that, that lowers your repair time by 3%. But you increase your DPS. You don't really lose too much effectiveness if you can get into range to use these rupture beams. And the reason that I got the Xeno Capacitor, let's see if we can, so yeah, but even still, if I'm fitting 2 of these and 1 of these, this thing takes 2 days worth of build time. So if I were to throw 1 on there, but you only get 20% charge, 20% charge bonus, it's 4 days. Each of the level 1s is, I'll go ahead and pop this off. So level 1s are a day and 22 hours. The level 2s, you're looking at 2 days and 16 hours. Is that right? Yep, 2 days and 16 hours. So it's an extremely high DPS weapon. And there you have it, it's overweight. And this is a Mark 6, this is an Elite Punisher, so this fit would be overweight. Take that off, it's not overweight. I increase my DPS a hell of a lot. Still have a decent amount of health and some shields to go with it. Lower my repair time a little bit. And again, some people run their Punishers without shields. I like to run them with shields if I was running 1 meta, which is something I might also consider. And then I were to throw a Xeno Beam Capacitor on there. Again, if I was coining this, whatever, that'd be great, but just kind of something to think about. There are ways to utilize it, but I don't think that the Xeno Rupture Beam can be used alone. I think my Disintegrators will still do a good job with just 2 taking out squadrons, but even Disintegrators suck at killing squadrons. But with the Rupture Beams, they actually might be able to clean up the squadrons that the Disintegrators miss, so that might actually not be a bad way to run it. And you could also consider running a level 2 with it, and that lowers my build time quite a bit. And I could probably even still leave this shield on here. So, you see there, just by swapping out, it's not a true 25, it's probably a little over 20, 22, 23% increase in DPS, but only a 4% loss in health. So I'm increasing my DPS, and I have the ability to, any squadrons that these miss, this Rupture Beam might actually pick up. So that's kind of a cool thought that I would consider strongly actually using this for. That's the one thing that I currently, in my current setup, that I've found and kind of considered using for over the last few days, thinking about how am I going to employ this weapon. Then it came out, we found out it actually has more range, 3950 is your range, than it would if you were to use the regular rupture beam with a beam capacitor. So it's a little different just because you have that full 4,000 meters range as if you were using Optics 5 instead of the beam capacitor, which is 50 less than Optics 5. But something to think about. In terms of fleets, I use my Punishers on this one. I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and head out there and I'll hit a fleet. I use my Punishers. I actually autoed them. For the most part, I was actually autoing the... I'll go ahead and hit this 88 if I'm in range and get it before, yeah. So for the most part, I actually autoed all of the level 100s. 90 to 100, and that's what I was doing. And then once I was done with those, I got the other blueprint. So here you see the Xeno Rupture Beam 1 is completed, and if I go down further, here's my Xeno Rupture Beam 2, completed both of them. These fleets right now, as they are, they're not that bad to fight. I'm sure they're going to buff them a little bit. Kixeye always does that, but this is the highest level Unknown Reaper fleet, and then I'm going to go ahead and fight with this. And I just auto it. I'm not gonna lie, I autoed it. It cost me about 300 coins to get everything on this account. Well, after the repair that I did to this fleet, it put me down about another 100 coins. So, but yeah, 400, 500 coins, I got everything on this account, at least blueprint wise, and then I got about 5.5 million points. And this is just the auto run. I'm going to let this auto, then I'm going to break and I'm going to go to my other account and I'll let that auto. That one's a level or a Fleet Bay 12 running 4 Punishers, and they're all Mark 1s with a Dominion carrier running Chargers. So I'll do that after I do this, but so you can see there, if I were to take and manually fly this, which is what I typically do, I'll try to manually fly to keep from taking excessive amounts of damage on one and kind of spread my damage across the board. And I'll take a couple of these guys and I'll send them down here. I kind of got carried away. I had to look away from the computer for a minute. But yeah, that's something that I'll try to do to keep everything in range, and I'll try to shield this guy now with my other Punishers. Let's get this guy out of here. But yeah, that's kind of how I run this fleet. Sometimes I'll just straight auto it and won't even watch the fight. Other times I watch the fight and auto. That's how I do it on this one. If I have a chance before I'm finished making the video, I'll look back and see if there's any of the heavy Punishers. But I'm going to go ahead and swap over to my other account, and I will hit a 100, or not a 100, but an 80 with the 4 Punishers and show you guys how I did that. And it's pretty much all auto, but just to show you how well it works. And mind you, this is an 88 that I hit with this guy, so it did a little bit more damage. I feel like they might have buffed it already since the event started, but yeah, I'll go ahead and make that. Alright, so here we are hitting the 83. It's an 83, so I'm just going to follow my carrier around. And I'll kind of manually pilot if I have to, but typically I just let it run on auto until I have to. So yeah, again, this is 4 Punishers. All these Punishers have Xeno disintegrators on them, but they're only level 3 by, or level 2 by 3, and then level 1 by, with just level 1 on there. Just mass constrictions, and then they got, I run binary. I like binary, it's how I fly, so. But yeah, that's what they're running. It's probably not the most efficient, honestly, using binary for farming, but I use these for fleet versus fleet every now and then too, so. Anyways, so yeah, here you see it. One thing that sometimes I like to do is I'll just primary one ship with my swarms. So you see I did it there with my carrier. And I let these guys auto. They're staying pretty tight for right now. So if one of these were to sneak away, I'd just bring him back into the fray. We'll go ahead and primary. Let's primary this guy. So yeah, this is just kind of how I manually fly this fleet, just to keep them all kind of centralized. And you see once this guy's shields start to drop, what I'll do is I'll grab that guy and I'll pull him behind the other guys, and I'll start primering all the guys that are hitting him with the rest of my fleet. It works sometimes, but yeah. And sorry for all the background noise too, by the way. I still don't have a good mic. I know people have been complaining about that, but I'm really not making any money doing this, so I'm not going to put any money into it, really, other than the money that I put in to have fun. So, and there you have it. So yeah, that's the event. Hope you guys like this video. If you're just going for the blueprints, that's the way that I would do it. I would hit the 80s if I could, and hit the 90s as well. This fleet honestly was killing the 90s with about 40% damage, so it can be done. On my main account, at the very beginning, I hit a level 100 for 1 million points, and I took 14% damage. So it put me at 86% left on my fleet health with my main account, with the fleet that you guys just saw me auto. And I autoed that fight completely. So, and I'm sure they buffed it, but I can't see it going any higher than, maybe 30%, which I coined to get the blueprints. And then once I got the blueprints, I stopped. On this account, I did spend about 700 coins. I had 6 coins at the start, and I bought the 1,000 coin package. So I probably actually coined about 600, and then I coined this fleet back so that I could show you guys this video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a good event. If you guys have any comments, go ahead, feel free to make them. But other than that, I'll catch you guys next time.